Are you guys on VRBO yet? Well, you probably should be depending on your market, but there's some couple little tips that are going to make your experience with VRBO better and that are going to help boost your rankings. That's what we're going to talk about this week.
Welcome to Short-Term Rental Riches, quick actionable ideas to help you along your real estate investment journey, but with a specific focus on short-term rentals.
Welcome back, everyone, to the Short-Term Rental Riches podcast. This week, we're talking about VRBO and my meeting with an account manager, actually my account manager, so we're reviewing my listings, my properties, but he gave me some really good tips, and I want to share those with you guys today. If you're not on VRBO already, Vacation Rental by Owner, it's also known as, and they also own HomeAway now, so keep that in mind. They're a good listing platform. You can get lots of exposure with them. And more exposure for your listings means higher occupancy and more revenue for you, right? So consider using them if you haven't already. But let's jump in. I want to talk about a few things that we recapped. One was just reviews and their procedures and the policy and some of the things we want to do on our end to make sure we're getting more reviews. We'll talk about listing fees real quickly, how much it costs to put your properties on there. We'll talk about a little new feature they have called Property Boosts, which actually boosts your rankings on their website. That's kind of cool. And then we'll just talk about some general support, contact numbers, and things that you might need. So let's get right in. Reviews. We all know reviews are super important, and the more we have, the better our search rankings are, as long as they're good reviews, obviously. And he gave me a few tips on this. Their system's similar to other listing sites like Airbnb, and he gave me some great tips. So first one was that after a guest stays with you, you have the opportunity to review them right away. He actually recommended not doing that because what happens is if you review them, then it starts the clock and they only have 14 days to review you. Otherwise, they actually have a whole year to review you. Now, you might not want someone reviewing you 7 months down the road when they don't actually remember what their stay was like, but it will shorten your window to get a potential review from them. So he recommends requesting a review from them first. Now, the system's automatically going to send out an email to them on the day of checkout. So you don't want to send another one on the day of checkout and kind of overwhelm them. I send out a couple review requests, as you've probably heard in prior podcasts, automatically to all of our guests if they haven't left one already. So, maybe, and this is really important because sometimes if you don't ask for it, you don't get it, right? The squeaky wheel gets the grease, they say. So try sending one out maybe 2 days after they check out, and then another 5 days after that if you still haven't got a review from them. But you'll have to log into VRBO for this. I always recommend using a property management software, which is going to link with your VRBO. But reviews are one thing where you really need to go to the listing site directly to respond to reviews and also request them directly through the system. You can request a review through your messaging, which might go through your management, but VRBO software also has the ability to do it right through their software. So head over to VRBO, check out the review section. Don't write your review quite yet. Ask your guests to do it first. And they have a little template review requests in there. I always recommend saving a response. You can have your VA do it. If you're doing it, it's going to make your life easier because you just copy and paste and maybe plug in the guest name. So create a template. And then after 6 to 7 reviews, that's really when a guest starts to get a little more confident about your property. So if you have 0 reviews, they don't know what to expect. There's no prior feedback. But we want to get as many reviews as possible. So having 6 to 7, that's when VRBO finds that you start getting more and more bookings. So just a few tips on reviews there. Again, we always want to respond to the positive ones too. We on our end usually respond to like every 5th positive one just to let people know that we're there and we're reading their responses and that we care about our business, really. So reviews are super, super important. Listing fees. So every listing site has different costs, commissions, structures for charging you to put your property on there. VRBO has a couple as well. So you can do it two ways. You have a 5% commission fee that you can pay per listing, or you can pay a $499 flat fee per year per property. So this is pretty easy to calculate, right? If you're not getting a lot of reservations from VRBO or HomeAway, then you probably want to do the commission model. But let's say you have a big vacation rental, or you have, hundreds of properties and they're getting tons and tons of reservations through VRBO. Well, as soon as your commission starts to exceed that $500, then consider switching to their flat fee model. You might save a little bit in the end. Now, the commission that they charge is just on the night stay and the cleaning fee. It does charge on the cleaning fee also, but it's not going to charge on top of things like taxes and deposits and stuff like that. So that's on the host. That's on the host side. We're going to pay 5% or that $499 fee, and that's per property. But on the guest side, it's going to vary. So it's going to vary depending on the cost of their reservation. And it can vary anywhere from 6 to 12%. So VRBO is doing pretty good, aren't they? I mean, if you add up the 6 to 12% and maybe 5% that we're paying, they're making a good chunk. But you can get some really good guests from VRBO, and it's going to help with your occupancy. So definitely, if you're not using them, check them out. And definitely get on property management software if you're not using it, so you can link right in. Beautiful thing with using the management software is, like, let's say you have all your properties in Airbnb already and you want to go on VRBO. Well, a lot of these management software platforms like Guesty and SmartBnB can push directly to VRBO, so you don't have to recreate your whole listing. So you can get all the exposure without so much upfront work and creating the listings over again. Okay, so a little bit on reviews, a little bit on their basic listing fee structures. They have this cool new feature called Property Boosts, and it literally does just that. It boosts your search rankings. It's a new feature they have, and you get the ability to use it based off your prior reservations. As long as the property didn't have cancellations, they give you these points, power-up points, they call them. So they're going to break it down for you on your VRBO dashboard by property. They'll show you which ones are eligible for it, and you'll see how many power-up points you have. And then they're going to show you a date in there, and that date is, or it's a date range rather, that you can potentially boost your search rankings there if you want to use the points for that date. So you can check out the date, and it's cool because it shows you what your search ranking is already. Let's say it's in your market or your neighborhood, it's 70, you're ranked 70th. Well, it'll show you what you're going to jump up to. So it might go from 70 to like 6, really increasing your odds of getting booked. But a couple things to consider with it. And of course, when you use these points, then it wipes them out and you have to earn more to be able to boost more. Kind of like credit card points, I guess. But it can really help, and I've used some of them and it got them booked. Now, you'll want to keep in mind the date range that is on VRBO. If it's 2 months out and they're asking you to use the points to boost it, and your normal reservations within like 7 days, then you might not want to waste the points on that. But if they have a date range that you could potentially boost that's like 5 days away, or it's coming up really soon and you can boost it, well, then maybe that's going to be a lot more beneficial for you. Now, they also have a difference between how much of a boost it gets. So is it going from 70 to 6, or is it going from 70 to 65, which isn't going to be a huge benefit for you. So keep an eye on that as well. You can't use points from one property to boost another property, even if you have a bunch of properties with VRBO. And he recommended just monitoring this every week or every other week because it changes all the time. And this is something simple you can have your VA do, or your reservation manager, or whoever's helping you, or you can do yourself. But take a look at it. It can really help. And the points are just sitting there anyways, so you might as well use them, right? So that was a cool piece about Property Boost. Then a little bit on support. They've got pretty good support, I would say, for property managers. We'll leave a link in the show notes for their U.S. property manager phone number. And then they have normal support Monday through Friday. They do use virtual assistants on the weekend for their support, so you might not get as good of support on the weekend. Now, this is if you're a property manager, if you have your own properties. Of course, they have 24/7 support for guests and reservations and stuff like that. So if you're not on VRBO, check them out. If you are on VRBO, make sure you're monitoring your reviews and you're responding and requesting them appropriately. And take a look at those boosts, because you might get some more reservations. Fill up your calendar a little bit more, and it can't hurt checking it out. So take a look at that. Hope you guys are doing great out there. And until next time, have a wonderful day.
Want to get on the fast track to financial freedom through short-term rentals? Well, it all starts with the properties you acquire, but you want to make sure that you acquire the right properties. I want to give you my ebook that will show you how to do just that. There is no charge. It's my gift to you for being one of our subscribers. Just go to restmethods.com. That's REST methods.com.